The grocery store was unusually quiet that evening. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a pale glow on the almost empty aisles. Daniel pushed his cart toward the checkout, his mind occupied with the same looping thoughts that had haunted him for months: bills, overdue rent, and the uncertainty of how he'd keep going. He wasn't looking for anything extraordinary that night. He just wanted to buy bread, milk, and a few eggs. But fate has a strange way of hiding life-changing moments in the most ordinary places. At the only open register, a young cashier stood stiffly, her hands trembling so violently that she dropped a pack of gum while scanning it for the customer in front of Daniel. Her face was pale, and her lips pressed into a tight line as she tried to force a polite smile. Daniel noticed. He wasn't the type to get involved in strangers' problems, he had enough of his own, but something about her seemed wrong. When his turn came, she reached for his bread, but her hands shook again, making the scanner beep twice. "You okay?" he asked softly, trying not to embarrass her. She hesitated, glanced at him, and shook her head quickly. "I'm fine," she whispered. But the word cracked, as if holding back a truth that wanted to spill out. Daniel could have let it go. But there was something in her eyes, a quiet desperation he recognized because he had seen it in the mirror too many times. He lowered his voice. "You're shaking." "Why?" The world seemed to pause. She froze, her fingers gripping the edge of the counter until her knuckles turned white. Then, she exhaled shakily. "I haven't eaten all day," she said, her voice barely audible. I'm trying to save up for my little brother's school fees. We're already behind on rent. I can't afford to lose this job, so I came in, but I can't focus. I'm just so hungry." Daniel felt something shift inside him. He knew the gnawing emptiness of hunger. He had grown up in a home where dinner was often just a slice of bread shared between 3 people. His mother used to say, "Sometimes we eat, sometimes we just tell stories so we forget the hunger." He glanced at her name tag, Sophie. She couldn't have been more than 22. Her voice trembled, but she kept scanning items, trying to pretend the confession hadn't slipped out. Daniel could see she wanted to keep her dignity. "Is your manager around?" he asked. She nodded toward a small office in the corner, but her eyes widened in panic. "Please, don't say anything. I can't risk losing this job." Daniel thought for a moment. He stepped aside, paid for his groceries, and quietly bought an extra bag of food: bread, milk, fruits, a ready-made sandwich, and a bottle of water. He placed the bag on her counter. "This is for you," he said. Her eyes filled instantly. I can't." "You can," he interrupted gently. "And you will. Eat now, please." She took the bag slowly, her lips trembling as she whispered, "Thank you." But Daniel didn't leave right away. Something in his heart told him this moment wasn't over. The next day, Daniel returned to the store, not for groceries, but to check on Sophie. She seemed more energetic, though her smile still carried the weight of struggle. They talked during her break. That's when Daniel learned the full story. Her parents had passed away 2 years ago in a car accident, leaving her and her younger brother, Leo, alone. Sophie had given up her college plans to work full-time, but the cost of living kept rising. Their rent was overdue, and eviction notices had started showing up. She'd been skipping meals to stretch their food budget. Daniel listened without judgment, just as someone had once listened to him when he was at his lowest. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of Sophie shaking at the register haunted him. He knew he couldn't solve all her problems, but he could do something. So, he posted about her story on a local community page, not sharing her name, just the situation. The response was overwhelming. People offered donations, job opportunities, and even tutoring for her brother. Within a week, Daniel returned to the store with an envelope of contributions from strangers who cared. Sophie cried when she saw it. "This isn't charity," Daniel told her. "It's people reminding you that you're not alone." With the help of the community, Sophie was able to pay the rent, keep her job, and ensure her brother stayed in school. She even started taking night classes, determined to finish her education. Months later, Daniel visited the store again. Sophie was still there, but something had changed. Her smile was no longer weighed down by fear. She walked up to him and pressed a folded note into his hand. Inside, it read, "You asked why I was shaking that night. The truth is, I was scared the world had forgotten about people like me. But you proved it hasn't. You didn't just change my day, you changed my life." Daniel left the store that evening with tears in his eyes. He had gone there once for bread and milk, and walked out with a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can ripple through someone's life forever.